right. Hello, Stream, and welcome back for this Saturday's fun D&D session with Broken Bane. I've got my usual group here with me. We're very excited to play with y'all today. We ended the last session in the middle of a fight, which is always interesting to do from a gaming perspective. So let's see what we can get. Let's see what happens today. Why doesn't everybody share with me what they think happened last time, what they remember happening from last time? And I'll remind you about a few tidbits that are pretty important.
We are in a friend's mind, a friend named Tina. Mm-hmm. We are fighting through her psyche, stopping all of the anxiety monsters and depression monsters and other sinister things. Mm-hmm. There was an Aarakocra that was trying to use our fears against us. And we beat him up. But we're not out of the woods yet. We're still inside her psyche. We were told by the Psychomancer that brought us here that they'd help us out when it was done. And we're not out yet. So there's one last thing to handle. And that's this dark
I think we're
figure.
fighting Are we actually fighting the Night Hag now that's inside of her brain?
Yes. Okay. So you fought a fiend, an Aarakocra, and now this Night Hag, which I think is also technically a fiend. I'd have to look in the book, but yeah.
And she made a bunch of vines and stuff pop out and grab onto us. And there were also some dogs that Battle successfully made more friendly.
Yep, one of them. The other one, the other one you guys murdered.
Yeah, and we're still working on kicking her butt.
Yeah, and you're all grouped up pretty close to her at this point, except Battle, who's about 10, 15, 20, about 30 feet away from her. So Winnie's the closest, a direct diagonal. Freya is right in front of her. Yume has duplicated herself, so it looks like there are three of them, three Yumes right now. And Dandy is hovering over in a corner, and then the charmed puppy is hanging out like 10 or 15, I guess more like 20 feet away from you guys on a diagonal. Yeah, what else did you do or remember from last time? Winnie, you are raging.
Yep.
You may remember you have two duplicates up. I have completely forgotten which one is actually you. I just don't remember. So we'll just work that in.
Mm-hmm. This figure was able to blast us without rolling to hit, which was scary. She just did damage to a bunch of us at once.
Yep.
And she's poisoned. Because Dandy is a good friend.
Yes. I do have that written down. Yeah. Okay, good. Alright, so I wrote down the stuff that I wrote down that you guys said you learned last time are that puppers are not always nice. Sometimes they're demons. Freya does not like being charmed. It is icky and uncomfortable. Battle got some confidence back by charming the puppos, but is annoyed by her 50-50 archery skills. And vines and weeds are barely an annoyance to Winnie, so that's good. Our role-playing point went to Yume for making mirror images. Making Tina's different faces.
From when the Depression Tina.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there were 4 Tinas.
Mimic the Depression Tinas, yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot that happened all in the same session. That's interesting. Honorable mentions were... So, you may remember you have a role-playing point. Honorable mentions were Freya just sitting down when confused, Winnie crunching the shadow dog really hard, and it crunched, and like the disconnect. And then Freya's blue lightning is just fantastic at all times. Okay. Anything else you guys want to call out before we get started? All right. So I'm going to describe the scene really quickly one more time, and we'll be at the top of the round, and we'll get right into it. All right, y'all ready? I don't have battle.
Yeah.
I don't have battle music. I just have creepy night music. So I hope that's going to get you into the spirit. All right. So you're in the arboretum. You're all the way against the back wall from the door that you entered in, from the paths outside. Yume is standing in a patch of those vines, so you are currently restrained. Winnie is raging and on a diagonal to the night hag. Freya is within range to just wail on her melee-wise. Battle, you are also restrained. Wait, is Yume restrained? Yes. And I don't think Battle is restrained. No, I should have raised you above this. Sorry. I changed the vines thinking I was clever, and it just caused problems. Battle, you are all the way at the back right corner of the vines. Anywhere the vines are would be considered hazardous terrain, and you move at half speed through it.
Okay.
And the puppo is in the back corner, charmed. I believe charm lasts for, I don't know, long enough that we should be able to get through this battle without it being uncharmed. So keep that in mind. Any questions? Well, there you go. You've got actual dog barking to add to the mood. I don't know if anybody heard that, but my dogs all just started barking a bunch.
Mine are as well.
All right, so
Yes, charmed.
okay, so the top of the round, Doggo is charmed. The next thing that happens is Shauna reads her book. Let's see here. Yes, the next thing that happens is the vines disappear, and what appears in its place is a very thorny wall. It springs up out of the ground and immediately shoves anybody in its way backwards. It's a wall of tangled brush. It bristles with thorns. It blocks line of sight. So I'm gonna need Winnie and Freya to make a dexterity saving throw. Please.
Freya got a 15.
Perfect. Okay. So
Winnie got I can't do math, 22.
excellent. So neither of you are harmed, but you do get pushed back. Ugh. I'm just gonna move this, and then I'm gonna move y'all back. And then I'm gonna put the wall back. Okay, so neither of you take damage. Now you can move through the wall, but it's gonna end up being very difficult to do, and you're gonna take damage while you do it. So keep that in mind. Let me know whether you guys want to attack the wall or try to move through it or anything like that, and I'll read a bunch of these rules.
That's
Question.
tall.
Yeah, that's a good question. It is 10 feet tall, 60 feet long, and 5 feet thick. And it does block line of sight.
So we can't see her at all behind the wall.
Correct.
Cool.
Okay. Next up is... Oh, see, this is what I forgot. I was just talking about this earlier about what I forgot, and I forgot to pull up all my spells. Let me do that really quick. It is the Night Hag's turn. Let me just see what she's gonna do. Okay. Yume, it is your turn, and Dandy and Winnie are on deck. What is Yume gonna do?
Oh no. Is there this thorny wall between us?
There is a huge wall above you. Yeah, and it's right in front of you and your duplicates.
So is it really tough to see the hag, or is it impossible to see her?
It's impossible. The wall is a completely solid wall of thorny vines.
I don't know what to do. I could start trying to run around it, see if there's another side to it, or does it appear to be
It
a circle?
stretches. It's not a circle. It's a straight line, but it stretches from wall to wall in the arboretum, so it blocks her completely.
Okay, I'll just have Dandy shoot another tail needle at her.
Yeah, he is on the same side as her. Yeah, so go ahead and do whatever that does. I forget. Do I roll something or do you?
I have to roll an attack.
Do it.
That's a 17 to hit.
That hits.
And that'll be 1 point of damage, piercing, and she'll need to make a con save.
Yeah. Oh, was she supposed to make a con save at the end of her turn about the? Yes. No.
No.
No. Okay. She fails her con save. Tell me what that does.
She'll be...
Double poisoned.
no, not double poison, but if she failed it by more than 5, she will fall asleep, fall unconscious. Is
And-
it lower?
What is she?
Is it like less than 6? I'm looking it up now. I forgot what the number is.
Oh, is it your spell attack thingy? Because I can look that up.
Nope, it's the sprite stat block.
Oh, I don't know where I put that. It's over a 10, so
If it's over 10, then nothing happens.
Cool.
Besides the 1 point of damage.
okay. All right.
And that's all for me.
Now, and that was technically Dandy's turn. Is there anything else you wanted to do?
I don't know. Dandy can use his reaction to... I can use my action to have him use his reaction to attack.
Got it.
So
Okay.
It's both of us. That's it.
All right, Winnie, you're up next, and Battle, you're on deck. Winnie, what are we doing?
I have a nice sharp axe.
You sure do. You gonna try and
I'm
attack the
going
wall?
to- Yes.
All right.
Hack, hack, hack.
Go ahead and roll to attack.
Okay. I'm using my dice that has not failed me yet. Let's see. Okay, that's not bad. 21.
That hits.
Yes. And a d12 plus 4. That's not the worst roll ever, but now I have to do math. That is 15 points of slashy damage.
Dang. Okay, so you destroy a portion of the wall, which I did not anticipate, so I don't have a way of reflecting that on the map. So are you going to destroy the section of the wall that's right in front of you?
Yes.
10, 10,
The one that's
10.
like right in front of me, and one of, I don't know if that's Dandy or I don't know if that's Yume or Yume's duplicate.
So this section of the wall that I pinged on the map and this section of the wall
Yes.
that I pinged on the map is broken down enough that you can get through it.
Yes.
Would you like
Awesome. I am going to hang out where I am because I don't have a bonus attack. And I don't want to go into frenzy, so I'm just gonna hang out where I am and wait for my next turn.
to? Okay, so no bonus attacks or anything? Or sorry, no bonus actions or anything?
I do not have any bonus actions.
Got it. Just checking. All right, next up is Battle, and Freya is on deck. Battle, what are we doing?
Okay, so am I no longer in vines then?
You are no longer in vines, and if you shift
Ooh.
5 feet to your left, you'll have a straight shot through. You'll be shooting through Yume and Freya, but the Night Hag's right on the other side.
This feels very treacherous given my success rate. I think I want to call her, and well, I don't look like I'm that far away. I'm gonna say like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
should I make a straight shot, or do you want me to go around?"
You're
and
gonna
see what
yell
Freya
that.
and you may think.
Well,
Freya and you think.
interestingly enough, they will not be able to respond until their turns.
Oh no.
I know it's
Okay.
it's a peculiarity of D&D. So I think you're gonna want to try and to make that choice yourself, or you can hold your action until the end of the round. But you've just got Freya left for the end of the round. So you could yell that out and wait for Freya to respond, and that could be the thing that triggers your action if you'd like.
Maybe I think I'll just say loudly, "Everybody duck."
Perfect. So you're gonna hop to the left
Yep.
on the map, 15 or 5 feet, and then you've definitely got range for that, and you're gonna shoot your longbow.
Yes.
All right, roll to hit.
Okay. 16.
That does not hit.
Okay.
Shoot, she's got a high AC.
I know.
No kidding.
You folks have managed to hit her. You've done a bunch of damage, but that unfortunately does not hit. Do you have any bonus
Like
actions?
battle's luck today.
Yeah.
No, because I'm not close enough for 2-weapon.
Right. Okay. So Freya, you are up next, and then we restart the round. What are we doing, Freya?
Excellent. So can I like lean over to the side and see through the wall?
You can see the section straight in front of you, and the section right in front of Winnie is gone. You can see right through it to her.
Great.
Don't know why I didn't move her.
So I would like to cast Sacred Flame. And so she needs to do a Dex save. DC 14.
Okay. She saves on that.
Well, that sucks. Can I move backwards? About
Yes.
like 10 feet so that I can still see her, but I'm not.
Right about there?
Yeah. I don't want to be standing right in front of battle. But
Left or right? The
Gotcha.
left is the more open side, like this.
yeah,
that
wherever I
part of the
can
wall.
still see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, that was Sacred Flame that you shot at her?
Yeah.
When does she not take half damage on Sacred Flame?
Nope.
No.
Boo. As you shoot Sacred Flame at her, she's gonna shoot some magic missiles at you.
Great.
Which do stuff. So there are 3 darts that shoot out at you,
Mm-hmm.
and each dart does 3 damage. So you take 9 force damage.
Oh man. Alright. Freya is not happy. The like lightning that normally shoots out from around her eyes and her hands like starts to dim just a little bit.
Oh no,
Oh no.
that's not good.
Does it also mean she's hurting pretty bad?
It does mean she's hurting pretty bad.
Oh.
She has 10 hit points. She's doing okay, but
That's not okay. That's really
not
low.
happy.
I realized.
She has slightly more than a third of her health left.
Yikes, that's not good. I realized I have the wrong plugin up, so let me swap that really quickly.
Mhm.
So that people can see Broken Bane stuff instead of like Seven Fin. Or Treasure Tuesday rather. There we go. Okay. Alright, so we're back up to the top of the round. The puppo is still charmed. The walled. Let me read something really quickly. Let me check something really quickly. Okay. The wall disappears and the vines reappear. It almost seems like the wall collapses in on itself to become the patch of vines, as if it is forming itself into flattening itself out into that square of 20 by 20 grasping vines. Can I get a strength saving throw from, it looks like, Yume and Freya? Battle, you seem to be out of it. Winnie is under there somewhere, too. I need one from
Yeah,
Winnie as well.
I think I'm there, too.
Sorry.
Four.
You are restrained.
Thanks.
12.
Is that from Freya?
Right.
You are restrained.
Okay.
And Winnie?
23 from Winnie.
Not restrained.
The streak continues.
Yume is restrained, and Freya is restrained. The streak continues. Yeah, that's a good streak for you. So I'm just gonna shift some things on the map. Oh, that didn't work at all. Yeah, come here. You are gonna come over here. I seem to have lost a Yume token. Just gonna put you on top. This. You're gonna go down one layer. Perfect. I have to copy you because I lost one. No one likes it when we lose tokens. And I'll put them all underneath so that we know they are. And Freya's also underneath, correct? Yes. Well, that one's not gonna go down. Come on. Go underneath. Shoot. There. Okay. If you're restrained, you're underneath the vines, and if you're not restrained, you're above the vines. Okay. Next up is the Night Hag. She is going to move. She's going to move over here. And she is going to shoot out a ray of darkness at Winnie, I think, if I've got the range. What's the range on this? 60 feet? Yes, she's going to shoot this at Winnie. And, that means I have to make a ranged spell attack. Winnie does a 16 hit.
That is my AC.
Oh, sorry. That was a 19 to hit.
Oh, that is not my AC, but it definitely hits.
Okay. You, so it's a dark beam, that has twisting ropes of darkness threaded through it, springs from her bony white hands, fingers straight into the core of you. You will now only deal half damage with your weapon attacks, if you're using strength for weapon attacks until the spell ends. I feel like I did this to you already.
No, I don't think so. I would have remembered this.
Huh. Okay.
This is the first thing to hit.
I just must be mixing up campaigns again. I have got to figure out a way to do that better. So at the end of each of your turns, you can make a Constitution saving throw against the spell, and on a success, the spell ends. So I'm gonna put an E next to your name to remind me about this. And so at the end of your next turn, you'll do a Constitution saving throw. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, Yume, you're up. Winnie, you're on deck. Sorry, Yume and Dandy are up. Winnie, you're on deck.
Do I have line of sight on the Night Hag?
You do, because you're just restrained right now. There's no longer anything blocking your sight.
Okay. Dandy, Freya needs your help. And I'll over and rub up against her and heal her some. while I try to break out of these vines.
Awesome. That is exciting.
How much does Dandy heal Freya for?
I'm using my healing light ability and healing Freya for 9.
Thank you, Dandy. That was very helpful.
That's really solid. When Dandy does healing, does he do anything in particular, or just like land on someone's shoulder,
I think it just vibrates, just buzzes
like around them?
and glows.
Okay. I like that. And then I'll need you to roll a strength save, I believe, to try and break out. Yeah, strength check to break out.
9.
You are still restrained.
That's all for me.
All right. That means Winnie, you are up, and Battle is on deck. Winnie, what are we doing?
How close can I get with my 30 feet of speed to Miss Creepy Fingers?
Well, the vines are considered hazard or treacherous terrain, so it'll half your speed. If you pop out over to the left here, you'll go around it. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You'll make it about here. If you tried to go through the vines, you'd make it 5, 10. You'd make it about here. So going around gets you about 5 feet closer, but you're still not close enough to hit her, which is why she ran away, because you have been hitting her really hard.
Well,
For some reason.
Do I want to try to dash? Oh, she's gonna hurt me though if I get closer to her.
Well,
she's gonna hurt me if I don't.
Yeah, her turn has already gone. Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to metagame for you. I apologize. I've been doing that recently.
Yeah, she's gonna go before I do is the key thing here.
Well, but if you get up close to her and she tries to move around you on her turn, then she'd take an attack of opportunity. So I'm trying not to do that as much because I feel like I've been sorry.
That's the other thing that's in my brain. And everyone else is kind of clumped together in lightning bolt formation. I am going to use a dash and get right up in her grill.
Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20. So do you want to be here, here, or here? Because you can do any of these three places.
I am going to be right in the middle one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. So dash
No
uses
matter
your
which way she
action.
goes.
Yep.
Yes.
Go ahead and do a Constitution saving throw to see if you are unenfeebled.
Oh boy. Alright, not too bad at Constitution saving throws. Okay, that's not bad. Natural 16 plus 4 is a dirty 20.
Damn. Okay, you save, so you're no longer enfeebled. Dang. Okay. So that's your action, correct?
Yes,
Yep.
and I'm just going to kind of growl at her menacingly.
Yeah. Battle, you are up, and Freya, you are on deck. What's Battle doing?
Okay, I think feeling pretty frustrated at this point because my fail
I
rate
know.
is so impressive. I mean, are the vines causing troubles for anybody at this point?
Yes,
Besides just like being annoying.
they're restraining Yume and Freya. So that makes it difficult for them to do things.
And then question,
Mm-hmm.
with my equipment, I have a tinderbox.
Mm-hmm.
Could I not light an arrow on fire and shoot it into that bad boy of vines to see if I can just burn the thing up? Or would it potentially injure my teammates?
I would say that it will end up injuring your teammates because they are restrained by the vines. So if the vines were to burn away...
They're not like magic where like one hit in an area will make them vanish.
No. Even when you broke down, when he broke down that portion of the wall, she basically just hacked a hole in that portion of the wall. But it was very tangible.
So they behave naturally. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh. Maybe since I'm so close, maybe I will use... I'm not sure how effective it might be, but I have a sickle, and I feel like that would be helpful in cutting down the vines, and maybe try to free Freya some.
Well, what you can do to help free Freya is to... I'll have you do a strength check for her, and that will free... If you succeed on that,
Okay.
that will free her.
Strength check. All right.
And this will be your
Oh,
action.
boy. That's fine. Net 20.
All right, you absolutely free her from the vines. So Freya, you are now free. You may now move around freely. Well, I mean, you're still in treacherous terrain, but you know what I mean. You're not restrained anymore. Excellent.
Yay!
Battle, do you have any bonus actions you want to do?
I mean, since it was a strength check, I didn't do an attack on the vines, right?
Right, but the strength check acts as your action. So if you have a bonus
Right.
action, you can do that. It will be marked
It's
on your
hard
sheet as a
because-
BA.
My bonus action is a 2-weapon fighting bonus action, so...
Right, so because it's not an attack, it
Right.
doesn't count.
Right.
Did you have Hunter's Mark active in this fight?
Nope, I've got she animal friendshiped, she helped break Yume out, she strength checked, she longbowed, and she strength checked. So no hunter's mark. Oh, she doesn't have hunter's mark, I don't think.
No, I don't.
There we go. That. She doesn't even have it.
Yeah.
Oh, Winnie, how much exhaustion are you carrying right now?
2 levels.
I don't know that you would have been able to make it that far with 2 exhaustion.
Oh, good point.
So I'm gonna move you back. I haven't looked up the math, so I'll just move you back 2 squares. Is that all right?
Oh yeah, my speed is half. That's correct.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move you back to about here.
Yep.
I'll split the difference because I didn't catch it on your turn.
good
My
catch.
apologies.
No, my fault too.
No big deal. No big deal. We're telling a fun story. It's great. Okay. So battle, you're all set, and we're gonna move on to Freya. Is that okay?
100%.
Here we go. Freya, what do you got? You're feeling a little bit better.
Excellent.
You're no longer restrained.
I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm no longer restrained. And I do have line of sight on the Night Hag now, right?
You sure do.
Great. I would like to cast Guiding Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a ranged spell attack. Oh, I figured it out. It is an 18.
That hits.
Sorry, 17. I'm bad at math.
That still hits. Roll damage.
Great. That is really good to hear. So it is going to be 4d6. So that's 4, 9, 11, 14. So
Damage?
it is a flash of blue,
Dang.
just like small blue bolt that will explode as soon as it hits her, and it's 14 damage.
Dang. And
Also-
with guiding. Yep. Go ahead.
The next attack roll made against this target before the end of my next turn has advantage because now she's glowing.
Got it. Okay. So everybody remember that. That's a good one. Okay. So we are going to be back to the top of the round again. The vines are going to stay in place. No, they're not. The vines are going to disappear. And a fog billows up from Winnie's feet. She definitely sees you as the biggest threat right now. Like, you're the most visible, and you seem to be the most enraged, and she's very scared of you. So the fog billows up at your feet, and I'm going to need you to do a wisdom save for me, please.
Okay. Not as good at that, but let's see what happens. 13?
You do not save. So you are charmed.
Uh-oh.
And I will tell you when that goes away. The way I think of this is less of a you're her friend and more of a you relax into an unready state, and you're not sure why we're all attacking this person. Like, all of the objectives drain out of your brain. It's like you know where you are and you know who your friends are and everything, but nothing else has an impact on you, if that makes sense. Does that sound all right?
Yep.
Great. Okay. Next up it is just hang on, let me write stuff down. Fog on Winnie. And then for her, she is going to you guys backed her into a corner. Anywhere she moves now is just going to get her closer to all of you, which is not great. So I don't think she's going to move, but I do think she's going to send a magic missile at all three of the apparitions of Yume that are still there. And Yume, you are not restrained anymore.
Hold on. That might not work.
Tell me more.
I need to be attacked to take damage. I'm going to read that part of the spell for you.
Mm-hmm.
Each time a creature targets you with an attack during the spell's duration, you roll to see if it hits you or a duplicate. A duplicate has an AC. If an attack hits a duplicate, it's destroyed. It can only be destroyed if an attack hits it and ignores all other damage and effects.
Okay, so I'm using Magic Missile, which has 3 darts that I can choose to send at 3 different targets. There are 3 targets in front of me. So, and I don't roll to attack. They all automatically hit.
Right. So yes, that'll work. It's your decision. They're not attack rolls, that's all I'm saying. But I'm perfectly fine with going along with that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm trying... Yeah, I think if I were... Yeah, because Magic Missile doesn't require a d20 roll, does it?
Nope.
Yeah, so that's... No, yeah,
I would take one no matter what, but
Yeah.
the duplicates would be unaffected.
The duplicates would be what?
Unaffected?
Because... So, I would aim the 3 darts at you, but they would end up landing just on you. I would aim the 3 darts, one at each duplicate, but they would end up all impacting on you.
Weird.
Or would it look like...
Very well. It's totally up to you how you want it to resolve.
How about this? So let's step out of the game for a second. Do you think it would be a more interesting story choice for the duplicates to remain or to be disappeared at this point? Is this a concentration spell that you've got going?
It's not.
Okay.
It lasts for 1 minute.
So what I'm thinking is either 1 dart impacts on all 3 versions of Yume, and they do whatever damage makes sense. Yeah, so either... I think all 3 darts should look like they're landing on each of the Yumes, and then either real Yume takes all of the damage, or each Yume image takes 1 of the dart damage, and however that resolves.
I see.
What do you think?
Okay. I like the idea of them all vanishing at this point.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the d4. I rolled max damage on that. So that's 5 points of damage on each magic dart. So that's 15 total. Does that all hit you, or is 5 hit you and 5 hits each of your Yume duplicates and they disappear?
So they spread out and hit into all three of us, and the duplicates poof, and Yume takes one of them, takes some damage.
Yep. That sounds right. So Yume would
Okay.
end up taking 5 damage.
And that's force?
Yes.
Force damage? Okay.
So she shoots these, and they end up being like almost jags of obsidian is what her magic missiles look like, and they split into 3 as they're shooting at you, and you almost don't see this. It moves too quickly, and as it rips through your illusions, they poof, they break out into, we'll say, sun motes, like dancing sun motes, as they break up. Does that sound all right?
Mhm. I like
and
that.
and then the obsidian piece that comes to and those 2 obsidian pieces vanish. The obsidian piece that comes to you hits you and sticks in you, and that's where you get that 5 damage.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. Yume, you and Dandy are up, and Winnie is on deck, although Winnie, you are not going to do anything this round. So Battle, you're technically on deck.
Oh gosh, didn't like that. I'm gonna blast her right back.
That sounds good. What are you using to blast her back?
Eldritch Blast. That's a 15 to hit.
That does not hit.
Great. That's it for us.
Is Dandy going to do anything?
Nope, that's it.
Is he
When the fog came up, did that replace the vines, or the vines still?
No, the vines disappeared. So the vines disappeared, and the fog boiled up as the vines disappeared. So you are no longer restrained. All right. Is Dandy invisible right now? I lost his marker. He went invisible
I
in
did
round.
not say he is, so I guess he's not.
Do you want him to be?
I do want him to be.
You said he was invisible in round 1 and in round 5. So I'm
Whenever
okay.
he attacks, he comes out of invisibility, but he didn't
Okay.
attack this round.
He
so
did
it's
not.
Likely, it would make sense if he went back invisible.
Okay, we'll make him invisible again. Perfect. All right, now Winnie, on your turn, you are charmed in a way where you're not going to be able to take any harmful actions against the Night Hag. Is it possible that you would wander back over to your friends?
I mean, as I kind of imagine it, like, she really, like, nothing's making sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she would do anything. I think she would just kind of,
Stand
like,
there?
wait for things to make sense again.
Perfect. Okay.
And just kind of, like, look around, like, what the hell is happening?
I believe your rage drops because you didn't
Yes.
make an attack or get injured this round.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is disappointing.
Yes.
'Cause I don't have any more.
Yeah, and you're
I am
quite
all raged out.
and you are quite exhausted as well.
Yes.
Okay, Battle, you are up next, and Freya, you are on deck. Battle, what are we doing?
Okay. I think at this point, Battle just really wants to prove to herself that she can actually shoot an arrow and hit this baddie.
Mm-hmm.
So she is so annoyed. Let's say I go into firing range. Just
Which-
a straight shot up.
What's your range on your longbow?
150, so I
You're in range.
depend. Yeah. Okay. Come on. Dice. Okay. 22.
That hits. Roll damage.
Woo! Okay. Where did I put those other dice? I'm so excited.
Too excited.
Too excited.
Can't hide it.
Okay. 10.
10 damage? Dang. And now, does 2-weapon fighting work on longbows?
No. It's a two-handed,
a
heavy,
melee.
ranged martial ammunition. Yeah, no.
No, it doesn't. I think it has to be a light melee weapon.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have that one attack then?
Yes.
Any bonus
But I'm
actions
very
you would like?
satisfied with it. No.
Okay, yeah, no, I would be very satisfied with that. That sticks right in her, and she shoots you the dirtiest glare because she's been dancing around your arrows all evening, and one finally landed, and she looks extremely offended.
I think I just kind of like sigh and have that like Ellen Page smile, that little one, corner of the mouth.
Yep. Freya, you are up. What are we doing?
I want to cast. I'm going to cast Sacred Flame again on her,
Okay.
which is another Dex save
Right.
for 14.
14 exactly, which means... Does that mean she saves?
I don't know, with armor class it would mean she'd fail, but I don't
Right.
know how it works with saves.
I don't...
She succeeds.
She succeeds? Okay. And with Sacred Flame, that means nothing happens.
Nothing happened.
I'm sorry. Nothing... Okay.
It's okay.
Any bonus actions?
Nope.
Okay, Sacred Flame...
We will remember how
misses.
frustrating this fight was, and we will carry it with us, and we will improve.
You absolutely will. You know, I forgot to remind you that, Battle's attack would have been an advantage because of the guiding bolt. So if you want, we can either...
Would have been my attack.
Would it have been your attack? Oh, it was your attack. Dang it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to save it for the next round? Because you'll be the next one to attack next? Or do we want to roll back and see what damage you might be doing this round?
I'm fine passing it because we forgot if we didn't remember to use it. It's
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
us.
we didn't
You're
remember
gonna
to
be.
use it.
I
you wanna be
forgot to.
generous.
I'm going to be generous
You're
and say...
a very benevolent dungeon master.
I'm a very forgetful dungeon master, so and I spent many years yelling at my husband for forgetting rules, and so I've learned to be more lenient. Let's say guiding bolt is still in effect, and I swear to God, the next time one of you attacks it, we're gonna remember. I'm gonna put a big old circle around her. Okay, we're back up. What was that?
That sounds great.
Okay, cool. We're back up to the top of the round. The doggo is charmed. Winnie, you realize that that where you are again, you don't seem to feel any confusion or discomfort anymore. It's almost as if no time at all has passed. But you feel very tired. That is a flavor. I'm not saying that you take any more exhaustion. I'm just saying now that you're not raging, you feel more exhausted.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the wall reappears in a different direction. So that wall pops up again, separating y'all from the Night Hag. It appears to be
This
this.
wall's still damaged.
It is not still
When you
damaged.
broke it.
No. And she is gonna hightail it. It blocks line of sight. It's 10 feet tall. Let me know what you guys want to do with it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. Yeah, she's gonna try and run the hell away from y'all. Actually, She'll dash as well and get all the way over here. Yume, you are up next with Dandy, and Winnie, you are on deck.
Just as a heads up, we cannot see the witch anymore.
Correct. So Yume, what you just saw was Winnie sort of shook her head like she was shaking, like, sorry, I just made that choice for you. What would it look like when the fog goes away for Winnie? Is there any outward signs that she's feeling better?
I think when the fog came in, like her weapon lowered and like her whole body just kind of went a little bit limp and she just kind of stared off into nothingness, and like now that she's back, suddenly like it's like someone's gone from slow motion to fast motion, like the axe whips back up and she's like looking around and she's, you know, very on her guard.
Got it. Okay. So you see that happen, and then right in front of her, the wall springs back up into place. So it's 10 feet tall. It's made of just brutal looking thorns and vines. Ooh, I just made that super big. My apologies. Brutal looking whip vines and thorns.
Roughly how far was the night hag from us? Was from Yume when the vines went up?
5, 10, 15, 20, about 30, 35 feet.
You know that breaking through the vines didn't make a huge hole, just enough to get through. But we need. When you created that before?
Winnie did create that before, yes. And when she did, it did look big enough that you could fit through there and get to the other side.
Would it make sense to wait until, like, if, not saying she has to, but if that happens again, to wait to run in there?
You could hold your action until Winnie opens, or someone opens a hole in the wall. Or you could attempt to make a hole in the wall yourself.
Oh, I could try that. Yeah, I'll just blast the wall. If it looks like we can damage it. I don't know if magic will do it, but it's worth a try.
Go for it.
Uh, 12 to blast the vine wall.
That hits. Roll damage.
6 points of force damage.
And are you attacking the section of the wall that's right in front of you?
If
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't.
yes, unless it
think.
makes sense for me to attack another section that would be more advantageous to my allies.
I think that section makes. I think that section makes the most sense because it is the one right next to Winnie, up and a little to Winnie's right, and the one right in front of you. So
Okay.
I think that would make, and it would be where Yume last saw the Night Witch. So that would make the most sense.
I'll take a step or two out of the way.
now
That way I'm not, like, in the path.
Yeah. Now you didn't open the wall yet. There's just damage to it. So but it's not quite open yet. All right. Is Dandy doing anything, or do you have a bonus action you want to use?
Nope, that's all.
Okay. So Winnie, you are up next, and Battle, you are on deck.
Winnie is going to run to the section that you may just attacked and try to deal more damage to the same section.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Oh, I need to turn my light on. I can't see my dice anymore. That is 15.
That hits. Roll damage.
Woohoo! That's not the greatest. 10 points of slashy damage.
Okay, so you have, between the two of you, you have opened up this section of the wall. So now Battle or Freya can get through there. All right, next up is Battle. Battle,
I want to kind of
Oh,
run through
sorry.
with the rest of my movement, though,
yeah,
and
makes sense.
see if I can lay eyes on this witch.
Now, with your exhaustion, are you still at half movement?
Yes.
Okay, so you went from here, you went here, 5, 10, 15, So you can make it to about here.
15. Yeah,
You've got eyes on her. Let me make this box a little bigger.
I do.
You do. I'm making the box a little bit bigger. There you go. You've got eyes on her. She's directly in front of you. It looks like she's getting ready to plunge through the wall when it comes down. 5,
I'm
10,
going
15,
to
20, 25, 30,
yell to the
35, 40,
others.
45. She's about 45 feet in front of you.
Where she is, so that everybody knows where she is.
Got it. Okay. Battle, what are you doing?
Can I shoot an arrow over the vines? Or not?
You can. I would call that a shot in the dark. So I'll say you're gonna roll at disadvantage because you don't know exactly where she is. You just know she's on the other side of the wall near the wall, and you're shooting at a weird trajectory, so it's not a straight-on shot.
That means she rolls it just normal since she has advantage.
Yeah,
for an
because
attack
Freya's
roll.
magic guiding her.
Since she's glowing.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
And could I ask my charmed buddy to point out where the witch is on the other side of the vines by sniffing about?
You can, but I don't remember if that's an action or not.
Is it just a
Clearly
flavor
the
thing?
puppy wants to help.
I'll put it this way. I'm not going to give you advantage on this, but I will say that the advantage from the guiding bolt does even it out, so you're not rolling at disadvantage. Shooting over the wall is going to be tough, I think.
Okay,
Does that sound
I'll
okay?
accept that. That's fair.
All right.
Okay. Feeling a little more confident. Got the puppy barking in the background, ready to cheer me on. Oof. 14.
14 does not hit.
It was so cool. It was a good try.
It would have been. I was really hoping for like
Thank
a
you.
nat 20. That would have been like amazing.
That
So-
was awesome.
I don't remember. Are we allowed to use our RP points on other people, or only
You
for our
are
own
not.
character?
You are only allowed to use them for your own character.
Okay.
I do appreciate that. I have used that mechanic in other situations, but I tend to mostly use it for children to foster trying to work together. But yeah. I also am ignoring things like total cover and stuff like that, so I think we're gonna leave that where that is. Do you have any bonus actions you'd like to use? Do you want to move at all? Do you want to try and get on the other side of the wall at all?
No, because I have a hypothesis that every time the hag has a turn, the complicating factor changes, and so we're in a rhythm now where it's like wall, vines, or fog. Wall, vines, or fog.
Well, Winnie
I don't
remember
remember the rhythm, but
Yeah, Winnie has called out where she is. Do you want to get better positioned to hit her your next turn? I just want to see if you want to use any of your movement at
Or
all.
maybe away from others in case the vines pop up.
yeah, probs that actually.
Which direction would you like to run in?
Can I go? I want to be parallel to her on the other side of the vines, so down towards the entrance of the. Yeah.
Right here?
Uh huh.
Great.
I think I'm just like shaking my head, like ugh. Annoyed.
Great. All right, Freya, what are we doing?
Can I get through the vines so that I can get line of sight on her?
Let's see. What's your movement?
30.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You can get into the wall because the open section of the wall is the one right next to Winnie, to the left of Winnie, and right where I've put your token.
Can I get to the very edge of the wall so I can look around the corner?
No, that's not how this works.
There.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, I've lost your token. Oh, I found it.
I think. Okay, then I want to go ahead and get into the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to use thaumaturgy to create harmless tremors in the ground for about a minute, as close as I can to her. Actually no, can I can I not go through the wall, but can I just kind of move generally closer to her along the wall of thorns, and so that I'm within about 30 feet, and I can cast the weird, creepy, shaky ground.
Yep.
Around where she is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like going to knock off the wall or do any harm, but hopefully it's going to scare the crap out of her. It'd be great. Very ominous and rumbly, like something giant is going to come erupting out of the ground.
Yeah, 1 second.
I like it.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so you're gonna make the round super shaky to freak her out?
Yes. That is my goal.
I like that. All right, we are back up to the top of the round. The doggo is still charmed, because I think that lasts for an hour. The wall does, in fact, disappear. And...
It's actually a whole 24 hours.
it's 24 hours?
Yeah, I got
Dang.
a good doggo buddy.
Yeah, I just assumed it was forever at this point. And let me take a look at... oh, right, yeah. She's going to... actually, it's not her. But, so Fog is going to billow up at the feet of Battle. Can you please do a wisdom saving throw for me?
Was that me? Sorry, I had
Yes, that was you.
had it cut out for a second.
That's okay.
Okay, so wisdom saving throw.
Yes, please.
Okay. 12.
Does not save. So you find yourself in the same
Really having a hard
state. Yeah, if you were able to stop and think about this, you think this place might be getting to you. So you find yourself surrounded by wisps of fog that are clouding your vision, and you're not quite sure what's... it's just hard for you to catch onto a thought and make it do what you want it to do.
That feels.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. The Night Hag is going to run around Battle and out of the Arboretum. And then turn around and... yeah, instead of getting all the way around Battle, they're going to stay to the left, so they have line of sight, and they're going to shoot magic missiles at... we'll say one at the rest of all the rest of you. So one will go to Yume, one will go to Winnie, and one will go to Freya. So you each take 4 points of force damage.
That wasn't very nice.
It super wasn't. Yeah.
Really getting sick of this lady, so I think I want to unleash one of my abilities and radiantly rebuke her.
Yes!
Or shining rebuke.
Yes, the Shining
I think
Rebuke.
it's time. It's going way...
It's time.
It's taking too long. We want her out of here.
Yep, okay. Shining Rebuke, lay it on me.
Get out of Tina's mind. She needs to make a dex save.
Dex save.
DC...
Oh, super doesn't matter what your DC is. I didn't roll a nat 1, but I didn't roll very high, so what happens next?
You know, just gonna take like 3d10 points of damage.
Oh my gosh! Are
Oh
you
my
serious?
god!
You roll those
That's
d10s!
awesome.
Just sitting on it.
So
No big
exciting.
deal.
Oh, you know, you pushed Yume a bit too far, and this is what friggin' happens.
Get out! Oh, that's not great. 10 points of fire damage.
Okay. All right, that rocks her back, and you realize that as she was running around, that she is. Oh, she's not even on the map anymore. My apologies. As she was running around, she does not appear to be moving as one would expect a healthy person to move. So you're making an impact for sure. Is Dandy going to do anything?
Oh, that was just my reaction when she heard us.
Oh, well, great. What's your action then? Jeez.
I didn't realize I was up next.
Yeah, you are up next, and sorry, just to you and Dandy are up next. And battles on deck. What are we doing?
Slightly less shining blast, Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
That is a 6 to hit, but
You do have your.
yeah, I think I want to use it.
Do it.
Ooh, natural 19. So 25.
Awesome. That hits. Roll damage.
1d10. 3 points of force damage.
Great. Okay. She's still moving, but not well. Is Dandy doing anything?
Is anybody hurting really bad?
Besides the night hag?
Nobody's jumping
I'm
in
gonna
saying they're
think
hurt,
so.
so no healing this round.
No healing for you this round. Okay. I forgot to do our break, and I need to use the ladies' room. Is it okay if we take a quick break before Winnie, you're going to be up next, and Battle's going to be on deck? Is it alright if we take a quick bio break?
Sure.
That's fine.
5 or 10 minutes. What are you all thinking?
Sure. Can we do 10?
Either is fine.
Yeah, we can do 10. I figured you'd need a little bit longer with the puppy, so we will be back here at 6:50. See you all then. Stream. I am gonna put up the be right back screen. I'm happy to answer questions via chat. We will be back in 10 minutes. Thank you so much, stream. We'll be right back. Okay. Hi, Stream. We're back. Thank you so much for being patient through that break. Sometimes I forget about that. I get too caught up. So thank you for the reminder, folks. Okay. We're going to get back into this. And we were right in the middle of a fight, and D&D was still floating invisibly with no healing because nobody called out that they're dying. Winnie, you are up. And Battle, you are on deck. Although Battle, you are brain fogged, so you won't be doing anything this turn. So Freya, you prepare to be on deck. Winnie, what are we doing?
All I can do, because there's nothing for me to hit, is walk forward my 15 feet that I can, and then dash another 15 feet.
You're so exhausted. Okay, well, you're up there with Freya, so that's good.
I don't know if that's good, because then vines might happen.
That's true.
Shoot. What do I do? Well, I can only hope if vines happen again that
the streak holds true. You've got such a huge strength that doesn't... that seems so ineffective against you. I'm gonna write down that you run forward tiredly.
That is... I'm so tired, but all I can think of is we need to get this bitch out of Tina's head and save Tina, and it doesn't matter that I'm so tired. Like, I have to keep going. I have to keep pushing myself.
We need Winnie to rest.
Yeah, Winnie definitely needs to rest for sure. So I'm specifically not asking if you want to use any bonus actions or anything because you used your action to dash. But before we end your turn and say you are done, I would like to remind you that you have javelins and hand axes that you might be able to throw. I just don't know what the distance on those are.
I don't know if I have any of those equipped.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I don't think I have them equipped.
All right, Battle, you are charmed by the fog. Do you think Battle would move at all or just hang out there and hope things make sense soon?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that Battle is pretty defeated and just like
Really not feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just gonna be discouraged.
Does that reflect in her body language in a particular way? Does she sit down at all? Is she hanging her head or anything like that?
She might lean against the wall.
Okay.
Just like knowing being nearby the hag is probably a bad idea, but also not really got the energy to follow through with anything serious.
Yes, Fury agrees with this statement, so.
Yes, very sad.
All right,
Very sad.
Freya, what are we doing?
So Freya is going to move over a little bit just so that she has a clear line of sight. And then she is going to attack the witch with her crossbow.
Okay.
And that is an 18.
That
to hit.
hits. Roll damage.
Great. 7 damage.
You said 7?
Yes, 7.
Okay. So, let me set the scene a little bit here. At the beginning of this round, the wall goes down. Battle looks more defeated. Just as defeated as you can possibly get. Winnie is running as tiredly as she can. Yume has crashed a bunch of energy into this hag. It's rocked the hag back, but as the hag turns around to grin at you as she gets away, Freya, you sort of like slide over and shoot her right in the heart with this crossbow. And you see her, she has this look of surprise, and she falls over into a pile of, have you all seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the first one?
Yes.
Yes.
You know when they destroy the dude at the end and all the wispy stuff happens? Like that weird black wispy stuff? That's what happens when
Yeah.
she disappears. You have defeated the Night Witch, and she is gone. Battle, the fog lifts from you, and you realize that the feelings you were having were based on something very valid, but were exaggerated beyond you, and you realize that they weren't your feelings exactly. You're probably disturbed a little bit by how similar they were to the feelings you were having, but they weren't your feelings. They were imposed upon you.
Okay.
As you're realizing this, as you're realizing this, the world starts to flicker around you, like when the puppos, that dog that you defeated in here, it kind of like flickered really strangely and then never appeared again after you defeated it. The world is flickering in the same way, and between one flicker and the next where you expect the world around you to flicker back in, what instead flickers in is Tina's bedroom. So you are now back in the real world. You are standing around Tina's bed, and you are looking down at what was once a woman so pallid and lifeless that she didn't look alive. Instead, now there is warmth to her cheeks, her eyes are fluttering open, and she takes a deep breath, and you hear a sob from the door, and it is Tina's wife's name, whose name I've forgotten. Anybody remember?
I have it written down somewhere.
Sure. So she rushes over and throws herself at Tina, and Tina sits up and grabs her, and the psychomancer gestures at you all from the doorway out into the living room.
Rebecca,
thank you. I was thinking Jennifer for some reason. The two women are crying and hugging each other as hard as they can, and rocking back and forth, and the relief is palpable. And the psychomancer pulls you out into the other room, and each of you realizes that the damage that you took in Tina's mind had a real impact on you. You still feel those hurts. They might not be reflected the same way, like you might not be cut open and bleeding, but you have still taken that damage, and so you move carefully. Winnie, you are still exhausted, and the psychomancer meets each of your eyes, and you feel like that they have acknowledged the fight that you've had. You feel like they were with you the whole time, that they were watching, and that they very much approve of what you've done. The psychomancer solemnly declares, Jenna will recover, though she is not cured in the sense of one recovering from poison. Drusilla was the name of this night hag, and she preyed upon vulnerabilities. Tina will recover. My apologies. She preyed upon vulnerabilities Tina possesses, and those vulnerabilities remain, though I will continue to work with Tina to help her bolster these vulnerabilities. I want you all to realize that you are part of her success. The vulnerabilities that Tina has, you faced. You worked with her through her anxiety, as you worked through your own anxieties. You provided a very good example for her as you battled your own anxieties. When you were working with her through her depression states, you were giving her more ammunition to help herself moving forward. And so while I will continue to work with her, while I will stay here and continue to work with her, the work that each of you has done is immeasurable for her future success. We are all vulnerable. I can't say that word. I should have skipped this module purely because I can't say that word. We are all vulnerable to varying degrees, and each of you, I think, has learned something about yourself today in what might become or might be one of something you would find vulnerable. Now, Drusilla is not the only night hag out there, and there are other things just as bad as her that can influence, that can return one day. So don't think that this problem is gone forever. Know that it's out there and it can come back. Until then, Tina's going to go back to living her life the very fullest as she can. Rebecca is a strong partner for her, and I think that they're going to make it. While Tina had a particularly powerful affliction, and it was visible in a sense that you could enter her mind with my help, and you could see the visual representations of it, and you could see that how it affected her body, in that she was lifeless and not aware of anything. Often there are similarly afflicted people, and it's invisible. They could be walking down the street smiling, and you wouldn't realize that they might have something similar going on in their own mind. So try to keep that in mind as you move through the world, and know that they deserve your compassion, and they do not deserve shame or judgment, which is often levied at them. Also know that I owe you a great debt, and that debt will never be fully repaid. Any psychomancer that you run into or that you meet in the future will always treat you with a great amount of respect due to the service that you've done today. But should you find yourself in need of aid, we will help. And should you find yourself desiring to help more people, we can always use the help. We will always work with you. As the psychomancer has been talking with you, Freya, you've been standing there listening, and what has your reaction been to this?
I think Freya has spent a little bit of time just trying to kind of process everything that has happened. Like getting pulled back out of Tina's brain was a little sudden, and like the realization that she's not, that she, Freya, is not just like fine, that the kind of hurts and wounds that she was hit by are impacting her in different ways is sitting a little weird with her. And I think she is feeling a little unsettled and trying to get her bearings, but is hearing a lot of hope in what the psychomancer is saying, and it's kind of renewing her desire to help and do good in the world on a broader context.
Great. And Winnie, what has Winnie's reaction been?
I think just trying to, like, her thoughts are still with Tina even though they're not in the same room, and just thinking like how much, he says that they'll never be able to pay us back for what we've done, but she really feels like she's still indebted to Tina for her friendship and all that she'd done for her before, and so she doesn't feel like the scales are balanced yet. She still feels like there's more she could give to Tina, and she just really wants to like run back in the room and make sure she's okay, and then like almost be her protector while she kind of continues to work on these vulnerabilities.
Awesome. And Yume, what has Yume's reaction been during this time?
So I think right now Yume's holding Dandy real close, like too tight, and he's buzzing around doing that like flailing, trying to escape. She's just like has not aware of that, but she's misty-eyed, like trying to hold back tears, just listening intently to the psychomancer. And she's met a lot of people kind of superficially at the temple, and heard people, like, helped people, heard their issues, known people to be struggling and hurting, but watched them have a little more agency. Maybe that's not the right term. Like, have the ability to kind of work with what they're doing, like coming and going off to their lives to address things. Where it seemed like Tina was really stuck. This is the first time I think Yume is had a really involved experience with someone's troubles, where they weren't just where it wasn't fleeting.
Okay.
Like, this is a stuck experience. You really have to sit in and work on it with someone. Even though we weren't necessarily with Tina, like, person to person, mind to mind, we were still a part of her experience. So she was kind of just gripping with, like, oh, we really... Using the word bonding doesn't necessarily feel right, but it was a very, like, intimate, sort of, like, involved experience.
Yeah.
Just kind of wondering what the implications of that are. Like, aren't necessarily, like, not besties, not hardly friends yet. She cares, but it's like, I've never really worked this hard for someone before.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out what that means.
Yeah, and I think Yume would really be thinking about that. That sounds right. And what was Battle thinking about while the Psychomancer was chatting?
I think Battle's probably trying very hard to be diligent and listen to the Psychomancer. And thankful that the journey is over, but very much confused and feeling kind of that vulnerability of, like, she has spent a lot of her time since she branched out from home building her confidence in her archery and her ability to kind of, like, outwit and keep distance from foes, and so I think this probably cut pretty deep, and so she's a little distracted, confused, thinking about, like, how does she strategize better in the future to avoid physical combat, and probably a little distracted by thinking about how there's, like, little puppies nearby that she could pet, but is trying to be patient and listen to the Psychomancer. Be respectful.
Does anybody remember the name of the dog, the awakened animal dog that lives here? I can't remember. I think it was like Ratchet or something like that.
It was like mechanical something.
Yeah.
Gizmo? Right? Gear?
I feel like I should remember this crap.
Something like that.
Sprocket?
Sprocket sounds right to me.
We all good with just calling it Sprocket?
Sprocket is good.
Sprocket it is. So Sprocket runs in, because they hear, like, you can imagine it's probably been, like, very silent for a while. They run in and there is just a herd of puppies. I don't know what you call a group of puppies, but that tumbles through the door at Sprocket's heels. And Sprocket is not paying any attention to them at all and is like, is she okay? Is she okay? And the Psychomancer nods and Sprocket heads straight into the bedroom, and you can hear Tina and Rebecca welcome her, and the puppies, like, stream after her, and a part of the pack splits off, and each of you is sort of like, each of you has a puppy or two, like, at your feet, just trying to love me, love me, love me, and they are just super excited. None of them are really holding still very much. If you bend down to pet one, they're like, oh, I love you, and then they run away, and so there's just sort of like this milling around, and some of the puppies from the bedroom come back out, and some of the puppies out here go back in the bedroom, and it's just sort of happy chaos for a second. You all notice that that the puppies are all different, like, breeds. Like, there's black ones and brown ones and golden ones and the curly ones and short hair and long long snouts and short legs and just a whole host of them. You, having met Sprocket and knowing about awakened animals, you recognize that none of these are awakened animal puppies, that these are just puppos. And I want to remind you that the farm that Tina and Rebecca have, they train working dogs, either to work on farms or work with people specifically. Battle, you notice that there is one that has, while it is also having quite a bit of trouble holding still, has sort of sat at your feet, and it is so tiny that it is tipping its head back, and it is like looking up the side of a mountain. But as soon as you make eye contact with it, its tail starts going, and it's the kind of dog that when its tail wags, its whole butt wags, which wags its butt off the floor, and then it, like, jumps around you.
Aww.
And you notice that it doesn't leave you. it stays with you, and it's got pretty medium type curls. It looks like it's still growing. He's still got real big paws. The fur is sort of a sable color, like a dark brown, almost black, and big soulful brown eyes, floppy ears, long tail. Looks like the dog's gonna end up being about knee height when it grows up, and it is just super excited to know you. Now, as the puppies are attacking, Tina and Rebecca are gonna come out. Does anybody do anything with the puppies besides love them? Or not? Are any of you afraid of dogs? I don't think I asked that.
Freya is just sitting and happy and being covered by puppies.
If you sit, they literally knock you over. And like,
Yeah, that's Freya's goal.
great.
An avalanche of puppies is a very good post-adventure reward.
Right?
Just hanging out with them.
Yep. Is Winnie or Battle getting down on the floor with them?
No, Winnie is still just looking toward Tina's bedroom, kind
Okay.
of ignoring the puppies.
How can you ignore puppies? And Battle, are you pretty focused
I
on
feel
the
like
one?
Battle lit up and is just like relieved and making knowing eye contact with this little Goofy and just like giving it little pats. Really happy.
Yeah.
Glad to have mind off of things and feeling much more like in herself,
If
being
you
connected to an animal rather than like dealing with other people.
does it feel like it sort of centered her, like it sort of snaps her back into what feels more like herself?
Totally.
As soon as if you touch the dog at all, the energy ratchets up a couple of degrees. Like, she is just so excited you're touching her, and she will stay right with you. So Tina and Rebecca, Winnie, you're the first one that notices them coming out, and Rebecca is supporting Tina, but Tina seems to be walking on mostly on her own, under her own power. And when she makes it across the threshold, she sort of falls forward almost and steps into your arms, Winnie, and just hugs you and is crying and is saying, "Thank you so much, friend. It is wonderful to see you, and you and she's not making a lot of sense, but you're getting the general intent there. She loves that you're here, and she's so thankful that you helped her the way you did." And what does Winnie do?
Winnie is just kind of holding her back and like kind of like petting her head a little bit and just like kind of whispering reassurances like you're gonna be okay and everything's gonna be fine and we won't let anything hurt you and those kind of things.
Rebecca is also sort of like hovering, and Tina looks at her, and Rebecca piles in because you were all friends, and Sprocket's sort of sitting there benevolently, sort of gazing upon all of the chaos and the happiness that's happening, and everybody settles down into chairs. There's plenty of places to sit, and the puppies seem to have tired themselves out, but Sprocket sort of like gets a little more like focused and is like, "Oh, nope, everybody outside," and herds all of the puppies outside, and you can see that one puppy almost doesn't make it because they all need to go potty because some of them are pretty young. And you hear them all milling around outside, and Sprocket comes back in and says, "We'll let them run around outside for a little while. We're so happy that Tina is ready or is better. We couldn't think of a better way to start our lives again. Thank you." And so everybody's thanked you, and the Psychomancer is sort of fading into the background, and you all realize that this is a very small house for all of you, so it might be best to move on. But what do you all do next? Any last things you want to wrap up?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's
Do-
tough.
I don't think so.
Can I very hesitantly approach Sprocket about keeping a puppy?
So I have a plan for that. If you wanna hear it, what I was gonna say, if you guys are ready to leave, Battle, the idea of that puppy is very strong in your mind, and Sprocket's been watching you. When you stand up to go with the rest, and you realize that Sprocket hasn't really been watching you, they've been watching the puppy that was under the chair that you were on, and it's the same puppy. And Sprocket tips their head sideways, and the puppy goes over to Sprocket like, I know I was supposed to go outside, and sits down in front of Sprocket. And Rebecca was like, oh my goodness, is that dog? And Sprocket was like, no, actually, she looks like she's bonding with this lovely warrior here. And I told you all that I thought she was going to end up being a warrior pup, and go off and do great deeds. Do you think that this might be a good reward? And Sprocket looks at you in Battle and says, would you be willing to take this one under your wing? She's almost a year old. She's still a baby, and she still has a lot to learn, but it's possible she could be a good companion on your adventures. Is that something you would like to do? Or would you like to take her with you? And the dog, as if it can understand, is like inching backwards towards you, and ends up like at your knee, and is like leaning up at you and like looking up at you like, I am your best friend. What do you do?
I feel like she like taps her chest to tell the puppy to jump up, come on, and grabs her and says, I would love to.
So this dog has springs for legs, and so if you give it any indication to jump up in your arms, it literally levitates off the floor and is like all in your arms, and it's a squirming pile of baby fluff, and she is licking your face, and she is trying to get her paws around your neck, but she's also wiggling from left to right. It's very clear she's never been dropped before, and she has full trust that this humanoid is gonna hold her. And Tina and Rebecca laugh, and they say, well, she is about ready to be placed. We were just gonna start looking around, and we hadn't seen a group of adventurers in a while. We were thinking about making her a herding dog. But if you'd like to take her, it looks, you guys have definitely taken a shine to each other. And Tina laughs, and Rebecca says, we're okay with it if you are. Any friend of Winnie's.
Are you okay with a puppy?
Is a friend of ours. Yeah, what does everybody think?
Freya is so excited. Freya.
Would Dandy squirm his way out of your arms, you may, buzz over to the puppy and inspect it, and then come back and give you his opinion? Does that sound right?
Yeah. Now that, like, the scene's less emotional, less difficult emotional, he'd definitely be floating around, checking people out.
You sense a level of approval that is similar to the approval you felt from him when each of the other party members joined. It's tinged with something that you can't quite interpret just yet. You're familiar with this. This interaction is similar to ones you've had in the past, and you know that if you wait, it'll become more clear. But overall, the feeling is positive.
You want to... You're gonna share your attention with more people, not just me?
And you get the sense that you are Dandy's, and Battle and Freya and Winnie are sort of like an extension of you, and the puppy will be an extension of Battle. And so Dandy is sure that everyone will love him, no matter what. And then you get this every now and then you get like a very clear, as if he's actually like really saying words to you. And often that means he's passing on a message from your patron. But in this case, you get it's as if he whispered in your ear, and I don't pee on the floor. And so you are completely...
He's very well behaved sometimes.
Yeah, yes. All the time, yes. All right, so... Sprocket brings you some gear, Battle. There's a harness instead of a collar, and a leash, and he gives you a couple of tips on some of the commands that this pup knows. Pup hasn't been given a name yet because they haven't really graduated, so there's going to be some things you want to keep in mind. He tells you what to feed her and how often her potty breaks are and things like that, and he tells you she needs lots of exercise, so the fact that you guys are adventurers is great. And he says if you ever need anything or want any advice, just send us a message and we're happy to help. And let us know how the pup turns out. And they're very politely escorting you out. Does anyone want to do anything before you're done? We're good?
Nope.
All right.
Freya's very excited that there's a puppy.
I think I say thank you.
Oh, yeah. And
maybe even break my usual protocol and give Sprocket a hug.
Oh, Sprocket loves this. So Sprocket is a funny dog, where they're very adult and mature. They're a good degree bigger than even the oldest dogs around. There's a very sparkling intelligence in their eyes, but their butt also wiggles when their tail wags, and so that just sort of defeats the purpose of being dignified. And that's happening when you give her a hug. She loves hugs, so.
Oh.
Okay. So we're going to end this module. Now, there's a couple things that I would like to do as we wrap up this module. We have had 5 sessions since May, so it's taken us a bit to get through the module. When I start a group of first-time players, and when we get through a chunk of stuff, I like to stop and recalibrate characters, because nothing ever works out the way we think it is on paper. And so I'd like to have that conversation with each of you. Anything you'd like to tweak or change or modify. Before we... Oh, Jelly just got here. Hi, Jelly. Before we pick up and do another chunk of story. If any of you would like to change characters, this would be a good time. I would also like to ask for feedback on the session, things you liked from it and things you didn't like from it. I will also ask for any updates to the yes and no lists. Now, we did a lot of this online, streaming it. That was kind of the intent of this stream, was to show this process. And we ended a little bit earlier than I thought we were tonight. So if you're willing to have any of these conversations this evening, I'm happy to spend the rest of the stream doing that. If you'd like to prepare a little more, we can chat about that later, either offline or in the next session. But overall, how are you all feeling? What did you think?
I had a blast. This was very fun. Thank you for DMing.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you for playing with me. D&D is a good distraction for me still, so I really enjoy running this for you guys. I always know there are things that I can do better, and so I do appreciate critical feedback, negative feedback, as long as it's specific. I'm happy to take notes and improve.
I know there need to be discussions to happen, but I'm excited to potentially see these characters in, like, we've seen them in 1.5 settings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like in this psyche, we see how they handle all this, and in Q domestic environment.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's so much that a D&D party could encounter.
Absolutely.
So it would be nice to see, like, this is only one piece.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see how they work together and interact, and for better or for worse, how other things affect them and how they affect the world.
Yeah, and in this module, just to summarize, you were passing through. Winnie got a note that Tina, her friend, was in trouble. You showed up. You needed to go in Tina's mind. You go in Tina's mind. You fight some weird anxiety stuff. You fight some weird depressing stuff. You fight some weird hag stuff. You come out of the mind. You get attacked by puppies, and that's kind of the end of it. So you, I know it was 5 sessions, but it was spread out over such a long time. Sometimes it can be tough to remember that. There weren't really puzzles in the way that I think of as puzzles. There was a lot of combat that had some changes from traditional D&D, as most modules do. And there was a lot of role-playing in this. There's pretty heavy role-playing for most of this, which can be difficult for a brand new group together. And I think you guys did a really good job, and I think we learned a lot about how I would run this module again, for sure. Other thoughts you want to share? Anything that you want to call out from this session that you liked a lot, or anything you'd like to chat about as far as D&D in general goes?
I really like all your descriptions.
Oh, thank you.
do a really good job of like describing the setting as well as kind of giving options or an idea of what's popping up in your head.
Mm-hmm.
That can be a really hard balance for DMs between like you don't want to speak for your player, but also if your player isn't as verbose, it can be helpful to have kind of those extra options for how it might look. And I think you balance that really well.
Yeah, I think that's still difficult for me, and I'm glad that it came across balanced well for you. It's something I struggle. I was having a hard time with it just today. So I think that's something that me personally I'll have to pay attention to anytime I run a game. And it gets better the more I learn characters, and the more ground rules we kind of set down, right? Like there may come a time where you might be like, I want to control Dandy more, and I'd be like, absolutely. Or they might be like, please suggest more things for Dandy, and I'd be like, absolutely, and we'll kind of tweak that.
We could always talk about that, like maybe
Right.
not like right at the table, but in between games. Like it's definitely something that's not. We can definitely talk about that if it needs to come up.
Right, and that's the kind of groups I like to set up that we're able to talk about those kinds of things. Now, Battle, you weren't able to land a lot of your hits for this entire fight, and I know that you were reflecting that with your character. I wondered if you mind chatting about how that affected you as a player. Was that overly frustrating for you?
You know, as funny as it is, I tend to, well, this part is not funny, but like it makes sense. If you know me,
Mm-hmm.
and so for those watching the stream who might not as well, I tend to be very type A.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be prepared, and I like to know what I'm doing, and I like to kind of have some command behind whatever I'm trying to accomplish. And so while I created this character, I wanted to do something different,
Mm-hmm.
and wanted to make a character that had a lot more hesitancy and quiet and approach that's different than like characters that one of my first characters that I made that's like more of like a Mary Sue badass going around. So I wanted to give Battle the opportunity to have a skill, but at the same time be able to challenge my like experience and be something a little more the opposite of my ADHD and the opposite of that like desire for confidence. And so I actually really enjoyed seeing her go through that and thinking about it and being in that role and experiencing it and just being in a different headspace,
Mhm.
especially since like, though I'm not talking very widely about this, I've been having a bit of a lot going on in my life. And so it's really great to be able to just kind of
Different
be
space,
somebody
yeah.
else.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and that can be a good escape for a lot of people playing D&D. I know I'm not dealing with anywhere near as much as you are. My home life is pretty good, my work life is pretty good, but the stress that I'm under just from quarantining and the Black Lives Matters movement and all of that stuff, I love escaping into D&D with y'all. It's that can be really good for us, I think. But it needs to stay an escape. It needs to be the kind of thing where you're still having fun, even if your character gets frustrated. I have another player in another campaign that will be like, my character's pissed and does not like what's happening, but me as player thinks it's amusing. And he's very clear with me about that, which is very helpful to me because he's really good at in the game playing like he's furious. And so I'm always worried the player is going to be upset. So I think that's important too, that you're able to communicate that with your GM and able to separate that. And if you aren't able to separate that, that needs to be something that the group can help steer so that it's fun. This is supposed to be fun. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now, Winnie, you brought this character over from another game, right?
Yeah, where she was originally a druid,
Mm-hmm.
and I switched her to a barbarian.
Oh, I can't even imagine Winnie as a druid.
I was actually a pretty formidable druid. I had some really, really great moments.
I believe it, but like in my head, she is just so quintessentially a barbarian. It's so interesting. I
But she's
wonder.
still
Yeah.
very physical, like a lot of wild shape and shillelagh and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Very cool.
very much so. Yeah.
Did it work?
So it was, yeah, it worked well as a barbarian. Other than I've just never played a barbarian, and so a lot of the stuff that I could have been more tactical about or more strategic, I wasn't quite on top of it. And so, learning like, hey, if you frenzy, you get a point of exhaustion, so use that wisely. Like I did not, and it totally bit me in the ass. So I think,
Well, tactically it
was
did, but I
definitely good
think
learning.
story-wise it worked, right? Like Winnie was
Story-wise,
pouring
it was
everything into saving her friend. So I think it worked story-wise, but I can see where tactically that might not have been something you as player would have wanted to do. But yeah, okay.
And
Totally.
you made it to the end.
Nobody died.
Like you've
Nobody
fell across
died.
the finish line, but you crossed the finish line.
We're not getting any more trouble for 2 or 3 days so that you can rest.
You're gonna
Have a
Those are
couple
rest.
more
off.
long rests.
Can help it, but
Now, does anyone
All the
think?
naps.
Does anyone think they want to change something about their character? Is there anything anybody's like, you know what, I didn't use this at all, and I don't see my character using this at all, or was there anything like, I was really frustrated because I didn't have this? Is there a way my character can have this? Did anybody have those kinds of feelings yet? You guys might need to ruminate on that,
Ray is perfect, and I love her.
she is pretty fantastic.
And there are a couple of things that I didn't use, and that's just because I wasn't familiar with them.
Okay.
And so I need to she's got the lucky feat, and so I can be re-rolling. And I used it once, but I tend to be really I will often not use inspiration stuff because I tend to be really stingy with that, because what if I need it later? And so that's something that I want to be working on anyway.
That's fair. Okay. Anybody else? Thoughts on how they might want to mod their character at all? I don't do this between every module. I only do it for the first 1 or 2. But so don't think you can do it forever. But is there anything anybody wants to change up?
I have some lingering thoughts about my original inspiration for this character. She's an acolyte. I don't know if she's literally an acolyte by her background. I can't remember in the moment, but always kind of bounce between cleric and warlock, because she's not a traditional warlock.
No.
We haven't changed much mechanics, but in how you might think of what a warlock is, she's not quite that.
I love it so much, though.
So part of me always wants to take a level or 2 in cleric. So I might have to structure it a little bit differently to approach that, but I don't have any firm decisions or opinions one way or the other. Just might have to look at it a little bit more
Fair enough.
before if we play next.
Fair enough. And Winnie or Battle, any thoughts?
I think Winnie needs something to make her a little more formidable from a range, because having to only being able to hit from close up was a little bit of a problem. So definitely getting
could be
some of
something we
those
can look at,
hand
yeah.
axes or javelins is going to be kind of important.
Yep, equipping them at least, yeah. Okay, we can look at that. And Battle?
So I definitely feel like character-wise, it would make sense in this campaign that she was very much intrigued and inspired by witnessing the magic that everybody else was using. And then low-key as a player, I was really missing from my Dagos and Dungeons and Dagos character, the Ivy magic that went with the archery.
Oh, right.
And so I would probably have Battle lean in a little more to the magic stuff as she levels up.
Yep, and we need to talk about the dog too at some point, whether that is just there is a puppo with you guys and it's cute, or whether we do something with it mechanically around. You're a ranger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Beastmaster kind of thing. There are a couple of different things we might be able to do where the dog becomes something like Dandy was for Yume. So we can chat about that too. But yeah, I think that would make sense. I actually found myself thinking looking at your character sheet for the spells. I kept expecting to see spells, so I think that makes sense.
Yeah. And I was intimidated since this was my first actual campaign. I've only done
one-offs and stuff.
one-shots.
Yeah.
And so I was intimidated to use actual magic, but now I'm I was craving it. So
Yeah.
I think that it would fit my character to do something with kind of forest-inspired or
Yeah.
animal-inspired magic.
Yeah, and you're actually a perfect example for why I do this moment where I stop after a while and I say, all right, does anybody need to change anything about their character? Because when you made the character, you were thinking one way. We played a while, and now you're settled into the character more, and this feels right for battle. It's not a well, I want to shoot laser bolts out of my eyes. It's a battle should have these spells, and it's a good moment to stop and take a look at that. So we will.
I could see Freya shooting lasers out of her eyes.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. Yeah. So chat, let's see. We've got Hey Jelly. They say they want to play D&D with me again. Well, then we will do that. I need to get my one-shots up and running again, and I got really excited about something earlier today on a stream earlier. Tech Soup wants to know when there's going to be a Treasure Tuesday crossover. So I get asked this question a lot because so my first two campaigns overlap players. Not Luthera and Tech Soup are in both campaigns. Treasure Tuesday is streamed and Shift is not streamed. And so in my mind it would be difficult for them to interact, and the players themselves are like, nah, we could do it. However, in this group, none of you overlap with either of the campaigns, so it would be kind of interesting to get all of y'all together at some point. I'm seeing hearts emojis from Jelly.
That'd be really exciting. It sounds so cool.
Yeah.
It could be very neat. So
I'd
is
be
that
down.
all right? Well, let me think about that a little bit.
Goonie
We could get all 10 or
Avengers.
11 people together. That would be awful, to be honest. But
Yeah,
whoever's available for a good chunk.
I'm gonna have to think about what that would look like. I have
can
some
also
ideas.
just-
What was that?
I was gonna say we could always just pull people, like depending on availability. Jared has run 12-person groups. He would not recommend them.
Yeah.
But if you want,
Well,
I
so
decided that was the direction you wanted to go.
I was playing Overwatch with a friend earlier, and they do a Saturday morning cartoon type thing where they do a one-on-one D&D game with one GM and one player, and they're playing through some they're taking like stories like Jack and the Beanstalk and making them into D&D games, and it's just one player. And I've had some thoughts for a while about doing something similar and building out the lore and background of Azinlia, the world that you're all in. And so what might be kind of interesting is snagging whoever's available at weird time slots and having short run-ins between you guys at different points in the timeline. Past, present,
That
future.
sounds so fun. I
Yeah.
love that idea.
I will
Cool.
have to. I've been meaning to create a timeline for a while, so I'll take a look at that. All right.
Was that Relic, the player of Relic?
Yes.
Streamer? Okay.
Yes. Stashmundo is the player Relic in Treasure Tuesday, and Tech Soup is Druge in Treasure Tuesday. And then I see. And Tech Soup said reckless attacks forever. So take that under advisement, Winnie. His character Druge, he's playing a Loxodon I don't know that I'd call him a barbarian, but he definitely has ragey type stuff. And his
The
reckless
other game
attacks
that I
are
play in, we have a
fascinating.
Luxodon Barbarian.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
All right. I really want to see a Chihuahua barbarian. I think that would be more amazing. But all right. Well, I think we talked last time about whether we wanted to continue playing together. I have not prepared a next chunk of story yet. Because we put this group together with the idea that y'all are all interested in saving people, I'm thinking about something that like a storyline that might be interesting to all of you. But what I'd like to do is make a proposal to you as a group, and if you guys want to keep playing, we'll keep playing. Does that sound reasonable to the group?
Sounds great.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, on that note, is there anything in particular y'all want to do next?
Nothing immediately comes to mind.
Nothing in particular. No.
Has there ever been
I'm really excited to see what your brain comes up with.
Has there ever been a storyline or a D&D campaign or a puzzle or a dilemma that you've seen in any form of media that you've been like, that would be really interesting to play through? Does anything ring a bell there? Because that's how I make up a lot of stuff. as I start
We
there.
did a one shot. I did a one shot on a ship recently, and that was just. It felt really fun and novel, because most of my campaigns are land based.
Hmm.
That's all I have. It felt
Yeah.
fun and novel.
I have a one.
Critical Role recently did a big fight on the sea, and
I know.
like the ship has hit points, and it's
I know.
really fun.
I've decided that that Matt Mercer is actually stealing a lot of the material straight out of my brain because that was going to be an end part of one of my sessions, or one of my campaigns. But actually, I have a one pager that's set on a train, and I am obsessed with trains. So that's kind of what I was.
Sounds cool.
It's a fight between heaven and hell, in a weird
Oh
way.
yes.
And I'm gonna have
All
to
of it.
modify it. And I had some ideas for how to tie some of Yume's stuff in, and I thought it could be kind of neat because you're definitely saving people. So I'm hearing unique settings, which this one definitely was. TechSoup says train robbery / defense. Let's go. Other ideas like that you have, and feel free to let me know at literally any point. I mute my phone at night, so if you want to text me at 2 a.m, that's fine. You can leave it in the Discord channel. You can tweet about it, whatever.
I'm now immediately thinking of the train robbery episode of Firefly.
Yes, that's I mean, my favorite train robbery. The other thing I wanted to chat with you about is, would any of you be interested, this is sort of a long shot, and this is by no means a deal breaker, would any of you be interested in taking these characters and putting them in a different role-playing game? So keep the characters and backgrounds, but play around with rules? Is that something any of you would be interested in, or would we like to just stick with D&D for a while?
I'm always
I
down
like
for trying
D&D,
different
but I'm
games. but-
open. Yeah, same here.
I'm up for trying that. I don't know if I would be willing to explore that on a stream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's something I was thinking about too. I don't know that I am brave enough to explore that on a stream, so that's fair. All right, so those are kind of all the questions I can think of this evening, and I know that we usually run a little bit longer. I would like to do our traditional "What did you learn today?" and nominating for an RP point you y'all are comfortable with that. I know I steered us away from the session really sharply, and I forgot to go over this. Do you mind sharing what you all learned today while you were playing? Or are there any cool moments that you can think of, role-playing moments that you can think of? If it's completely too late because I pulled us too far away, that's fine.
I think for role playing moments, just like Winnie falling across the finish line, like how she kept going after she was exhausted, and then more exhausted, and then more exhausted. But you could just like see this sense of determination. That was really cool.
So I'll just call this cool moments. And I'll put a date on it because I like dates. And we'll say the way Winnie kept going through many layers of exhaustion. That was good. What else? Other good role
You
playing
made
moments.
Radiant Rebuke,
Yes, so good.
whipping that out.
I think they call it a shining rebuke, which I love.
Now, I only have so many magic things I can do. They're all really cool at the start, but I'm going to be using them over and over again.
I think that there are ways that we can story them though, right? Like, especially with something like rebuke, it can be like Yume had lost, like that was the last straw for Yume, right? Like she was gonna get away, like, and Yume was like, absolutely not. Like, you get back and go, yeah. So
We've talked recently about how a lot of, like, the decision making, the role playing for Yume is less like what she says and how she acts, quote unquote, on the screen, and a little more about like the intentions that come behind things.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to figure out how to communicate that better. At least I am.
I think,
It seems like a lot of the times the Shining Rebuke comes out is at desperation
yeah, and
so far.
I'm really interested in bringing that out more because I think that'll be an interesting way to communicate what the character's doing as opposed to relying on I hit thing with sword or I say this out loud, right? Like I'm really interested in that part. Other good moments this evening, role-playing moments this evening. And I accept these from chat too if chat wants to chime in at all.
I liked using the sickle to cut friend out of vines. I forgot who was in which position, but
I think that was...
I think Battle helped Freya out.
That was
Battle,
Battle
yeah.
helping Freya, yeah.
I do not know how to spell sickle. I think that's it. Yeah, I think tonight was a really interesting... it's always interesting to start up a session in the middle of a battle because you lose kind of some of that rhythm. And it's always interesting to try and find that rhythm again and keep pushing it forward. And I think you all did a really good job of that this evening. Tech Soup says...
Despite all of our terrible rolls.
Well, and that happens, right? Like, there are nights where I've rolled absolutely terribly and you've murdered things super fast, and what I think is important about that is still being able to tell a good story even if the rolls aren't going your way. And so I think that Battle's character missing those shots gave her a really interesting story character development piece that we would have missed otherwise. And I found that really fascinating. And so I'm Winnie just running and running and running and running. I don't think you hit anything except a wall tonight. But she kept moving forward. She kept like that relentless, implacable, I will keep moving. I think that's a really interesting story character development as well. Tech Soup says Freya having lightning dim was cool. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What happened there, Freya? Did you take enough damage?
I took a bunch of damage, and I was struggling, and so my lightning dimmed, because it takes energy.
Yeah, because you've got like little tiny lightnings sort of flickering all over when you're doing stuff, right? Yeah, that was a really good moment too. Well, yeah, this I won't mind telling you, this module turned out way differently than I thought it was when I went into it, and I really enjoyed playing with all of you, and I really enjoyed your patience. Is there anything else you'd like to go over on stream, or shall we say goodnight, stream? I'm happy to continue chatting about stuff forever. You guys know this, but I'm also happy to give the rest of your night back if you'd like.
Well, if it wasn't obvious before tonight, to stream, they now know that there are a couple dog trainers by experience among the group.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have trained dogs, and the lady playing Battle has trained dogs as well. The baby puppy I have right now has defeated me in so many different ways, and I will always be thankful for my husband. She dragged me out of my wheelchair the other day, and I was just sitting on the sidewalk just crying because I was like, this shouldn't be happening to me. So ups and downs with training, but dogs, they're cute.
Kiri wants to agree with you. She is also my... She's living up to her name, that's for sure.
Tara was so easy compared to this damn dog. It's exactly like having a second child. I shouldn't say that to people with actual children, but I don't think any of you have children. So it's exactly like having a second child. It's the worst. And so we've got some friends, and their oldest son he's thoughtful, and he's quiet, and he's sensitive, and he's very engaged with whoever he's talking to. Their second oldest son is a bulldozer, and he will careen into you from across the room. He's very physical, and like he's also very sensitive and connected with you, but he connects with you by barreling into you. My two dogs are exactly like that. It's interesting in this house. So yeah, dogs. And Battle and I can talk about it forever, so I will try desperately not to get too ridiculous with Battle has a dog, and then there's a character in Treasure Tuesday that has a dog, and I've been having a really hard time not being like, and the dog does this, and the dog does this, and the dog does this, and the dog does this for like 2 hours.
But it's so cute because you know dogs so well and like really bring it to life.
So I said something in the last campaign that no one caught about the dog, and I'm waiting for somebody to be like, wait a second.
In the last campaign? You mean
Sorry.
on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, in the last Treasure Tuesday session, that I said about Quentin's dog, and nobody caught it. It was quite clever.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping for more fun moments like that with Battle's dog. Also, I have a joking rule that if you don't name your creatures,
I'm on it. I'm on
they
it. I'm
get
Googling
murdered immediately.
history's silliest types of armor, because since Battle's Lessons armor, I have to.
Oh my god, I love this.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm Googling the most impractical forms of armor, because really, while Battle is charismatic and does well with animals, this is a puppy, and she's gonna be a puppy, so I want to make it very silly.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. TechSoup says they did catch the thing that I did, but I don't know if that counts because you know everything, and you catch everything forever. But he says he didn't comment because character. That's fair. That's fair. Anything else you guys want to chat about before we run away from Stream for the evening? Does Stream have any questions that the cast can answer? They're here. They're ready to answer questions. Anything you guys, you folks want to ask? Cool. I guess I'll give Stream a minute because sometimes there's a delay for mobile stuff. Any last questions y'all have before we say goodnight?
I don't think so.
Cool. Cool. All right, I'm not seeing anything from Stream, so you can find me on Twitter. If you have a question for one of my players that you really want them to answer, please ping me on Twitter, and I will make sure that they're comfortable with me giving out that information to you. Don't be a jerk. In your real day life or to us, we hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Please remember to take care of yourself and the people around you. It's very, very important. And with that, I will say goodnight, Stream. Everybody say goodnight, Stream.
Good night,
Bye,
Stream.
Stream.
And we'll catch you next week.